All right, let's get going with St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves. So in this video, eventually, give me a couple minutes, I'll be reading all of Stage 1 and really just listening and reading along to Stage 1, taking in Stage 1 and with an open mind mode is all we're doing today. One of the things that's going to be weird for me is the pacing of this. For years, I've been used to 40-minute periods and a classroom full of students. So I'm going to need to make some adjustments to how I've done some things in the past. But I got a pretty good feeling that things will work out generally just fine with this short story. I think I know what I'm doing. And if we try some things out and they don't work, we won't do it that way. We'll figure out something else. One of the things I've already done is in Schoology I've put a PDF copy of the short story itself. It's just really a series of photocopies of the actual text, but it's something that we'll be working with for weeks to come. So one of the things that I'm going to suggest is you get organized and keep organized. In your Google Drive, I'm hoping that you have already set up a folder marked English. Something I'm going to suggest is in that folder marked English, you have another folder called St. Lucy's. You could make this today, and inside your St. Lucy's folder, you can put the PDF copy of the short story, and you'll always know where to go find it. This will also allow you to keep all your other St. Lucie stuff all in that same folder. Like your Stage 1 vocab from yesterday, guess where that should go? In the folder. That's in the folder. You see how that works? Organization. Now I've already made the recording of me reading Stage 1. It may not be perfect. I couldn't get the whole school to stop what they're doing, to be silent, but I think it works out pretty well. And in the recordings I've made, I don't have the camera on my face. I don't want you to be looking at me while we're reading this. I will have just the page on the video. But to be honest, my advice is to listen to the video, but actually be following along with the PDF copy of the story, only because we will be doing significant work with the story. You're going to have to end up looking for some quotes and evidence and excerpts and those kinds of things, and it might make your life easier if you follow along with the given text rather than just what's on the video. So when you go into the text to find details, it might help you remember where these things are. One other thing I'd like you to keep in mind, there is a big difference between reading and looking at words. Do you ever get to the bottom of a page and you start to go up to the top of the next page and you realize, I have no idea what I just read? That's called looking at words. And that could happen. That could happen even if you really want to be reading. Sometimes, minds just drift a little bit and you end up looking at the words. If that happens to you, press pause, rewind it a little bit. Make sure you're taking in the whole story. We've been working with this story for like a month. All right, so get used to reading as opposed to just looking at the words. All right, so I'm just about ready to shut up so we can get reading, although, ironically, once I shut up, then we'll just be listening to my voice more reading. Anyway, so we're about to start reading. If you have to press pause in order to get the PDF copy in a window that you like and the video in a window that you like, take a minute, do what you got to do, and then press play again. All right, everybody. I present to you St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves, Stage 1. St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves by Karen Russell. Stage 1. The initial period is one in which everything is new, exciting, and interesting for your students. It is fun for your students to explore their new environment. From the Jesuit Handbook on Lycanthropic Culture Shock. At first, our pack was all hair and snarl and floor-thumping joy. We forgot the barked cautions of our mothers and fathers, all the promises we'd made to be civilized and ladylike, couth and kempt. We tore through the austere rooms, overturning dresser drawers, pawing through the neat piles of the Stage 3 girls' starched underwear, smashing light bulbs with our bare fists. Things felt less foreign in the dark. The dim bedroom was windowless and odorless. We remedied this by spraying exuberant yellow streams all over the bunks. We jumped from bunk to bunk, spraying. We nosed each other midair, our bodies buckling in kinetic laughter. The nuns watched us from the corner of the bedroom, their tiny faces pinched with displeasure. Ay caramba, Sister Maria de la Guardia said. Que barbaridad, she made the sign of the cross. Sister Maria came to St. Lucy's from a halfway house in Copacabana. In Copacabana, the girls are fat and languid and eat pink slivers of guava right out of your hand. Even at Stage 1, their pelts are silky, sun-bleached to near invisibility. Our pack was hirsute and sinewy, and mostly brunette. We had terrible posture. We went knuckling along the wooden floors on the calloused pads of our fists, bearing row after row of tiny wood-rotted teeth. Sister Josephine sucked in her breath. She removed a yellow wheel of floss from under her robes, looping it like a miniature lasso. The girls at our facility are backwoods, Sister Josephine whispered to Sister Maria de la Guardia with a beatific smile. You must be patient with them. I clamped down on her ankle, straining to close my jaws around the woolly extra large sock. Sister Josephine tasted like sweat and freckles. She smelled easy to kill. We arrived at St. Lucy's that morning, part of a pack 15 strong. We were accompanied by a mousy, nervous-smelling social worker, the baby-faced deacon, Bartholomew, the blue wolfhound, and 4 burly woodsmen. The deacon handed out some stale cupcakes and said a quick prayer. Then he led us through the woods. We ran past a wild apiary, past the felled oaks, until we could see the white steeple of St. Lucy's rising out of the forest. We stopped short at the edge of a muddy lake. Then the deacon took our brothers. Bartholomew helped him to herd the boys up the ramp of a small ferry. We girls ran along the shore, tearing at our new jumpers in a plaid agitation. Our brothers stood on the deck, looking small and confused. Our mothers and fathers were werewolves. They lived an outsider's existence in caves at the edge of the forest, threatened by frost and pitchforks. They had been ostracized by the local farmers for eating their silled fruit pies and terrorizing the heifers. They had ostracized the local wolves by having sometimes thumbs and regrets and human children. Their condition skips a generation. Our pack grew up in a green purgatory. We couldn't keep up with the purebred wolves, but we never stopped crawling. We spoke a slab-tongued pidgin in the cave, inflected with frequent howls. Our parents wanted something better for us. They wanted us to get braces, use towels, be fully bilingual. When the nuns showed up, our parents couldn't refuse their offer. The nuns, they said, would make us naturalized citizens of human society. We would go to St. Lucy's to study a better culture. We didn't know at the time that our parents were sending us away for good. Neither did they. That first afternoon, the nuns gave us free rein of the grounds. Everything was new, exciting, and interesting. A low granite wall surrounded St. Lucy's, the blue woods humming for miles behind it. There was a stone fountain full of delectable birds. There was a statue of St. Lucy. Her marble skin was colder than our mother's nose. Her pupilless eyes rolled heavenward. Doomed squirrels gamboled around her stony toes. Our diminished pack threw back our heads in a celebratory howl, an exultant and terrible noise, even without a chorus of wolf brothers in the background. There were holes everywhere. We supplemented these holes by digging some of our own. We interred sticks and our itchy new jumpers and the bones of the friendly, unfortunate squirrels. Our noses ached beneath an invisible assault. Everything was smudged with a human odor: baking bread, petrol, the nun's faint woman smell sweating out beneath a dark perfume of tallow and incense. We smelled one another, too, with the same astounded fascination. Our own scent had become foreign in this strange place. We had just sprawled out in the sun for an afternoon nap, yawning into the warm dirt, when the nuns reappeared. They conferred in the shadow of the juniper tree, whispering and pointing. Then they started toward us. The oldest sister had spent the past hour twitching in her sleep, dreaming of fatty and infirm elk. The pack used to dream the same dreams back then, as naturally as we drank the same water and slept in the same red scree. When our oldest sister saw the nuns approaching, she instinctively bristled. It was an improvised bristle, given her new human limitations. She took clumps of her scraggly nut-brown hair and held it straight out from her head. Sister Maria gave her a brave smile. "And what is your name?" she asked. The oldest sister howled something awful and inarticulable, a distillate of hurt and panic, half-forgotten hunts and eclipsed moons. Sister Maria nodded and scribbled on a yellow legal pad. She slapped a name tag. "Hello, my name is..." "Jeanette, it is." The rest of the pack ran in a loose, uncertain circle, torn between our instinct to help her and our new fear. We sensed some subtler danger afoot, written in a language we didn't understand. Our littlest sister had the quickest reflexes. She used her hands to flatten her ears to the side of her head. She backed toward the far corner of the garden, snarling in the most menacing register that an 8-year-old wolf girl could muster. And then she ran. It took them 2 hours to pin her down and tag her, "Hello, my name is Mirabella." "Stage 1, Sister Maria sighed, taking careful aim with a tranquilizer dart. "It can be a little overstimulating." Weird. I know. They're peeing. They're eating squirrels. I know. We'll check out stage 1 a little bit closer in the next coming days. But that's about it for today. There is no formal assignment that goes with this video. I highly suggest you make those folders, and we'll see you tomorrow.